Hey, amazing listeners. Welcome back to the Grace-Filled Leader podcast, the place where we dive deep into real-life challenges and equip you with practical wisdom to navigate them. Today we're talking to all the incredible working moms out there that are juggling career, family, and everything in between. If you're feeling like there just aren't enough hours in the day, you're in the right place. Let's explore some practical tips to help you not only get everything done, but thrive while doing it. Sister friend, are you tired of constantly feeling like you're running on empty, trying to keep up with the demands of work, family, and everything in between? Well, it's time for a revolution, a guilt-free time revolution. Join me for my upcoming workshop, The Time Management Makeover, where I'll be sharing 4 game-changing steps to help you create more time for what matters most without the guilt. So say goodbye to overwhelm and hello to a life of balance and abundance. Ready to join the revolution? Head to the link in the show notes or go to gracefilledleader.com/workshop to reserve your spot today. And guess what? It's free. Go to the link, join today, and join the workshop on February 29th at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. And even if you register and something comes up and you can't make it live, I will be offering a replay to anyone who registers for a limited time after the workshop. Welcome to the Grace-Filled Leader podcast. Do you want better work-life balance? Do you get stuck in patterns of perfectionism and people-pleasing? Have you always been an overachiever but never really felt good enough, no matter how much outward success you achieve? Do you want more time for the things that matter most? Well, you are in the right place. Here on the Grace-Filled Leader podcast, we focus on spirit-driven success and share the secrets to having better work-life balance as a busy woman in leadership. Here you will learn how to set boundaries like a boss, find peace of mind, and reclaim your time for the things that matter most. Hi, I'm Tanya, a wife, mom, leader, and certified Christian life coach. For most of my life, I tried to find worthiness through achievement. I spent decades people-pleasing and pouring myself into my work. I was looking for my value through the approval of others. This led me to feel burned out, empty, and exhausted. I had no time or energy for myself or my family. I realized that I was wasting time and energy looking for validation in all the wrong places. But my life changed when I finally surrendered and God showed me a different way. It is my mission to help you start living the abundant life God has for you. If you're ready to become fueled by grace and find freedom from people-pleasing, if you're ready to multiply your time and impact as a Christian woman in leadership, this podcast is for you. Roll up your sleeves, sister friends. It's time to get after it. Hey, I get it. The constant balancing act, the never-ending to-do list, and the guilt that often creeps in. It's time to acknowledge that you're not alone in this struggle. Many working moms face similar challenges. Today, let's unpack the common hurdles and set the stage for some actionable tips to bring more balance and peace into your life. One of the secrets to success is really mastering the art of prioritization. And we've talked about this time and time again, but it bears repeating, and I will be repeating it again. We're going to discuss how to identify your top priorities both at work and at home. Plus, we'll dive into the technique of time blocking. It's a game changer for busy moms who want to maximize their productivity without getting burned out. So first, identifying your top priorities. As a working mom, your plate is undoubtedly full, but not everything on your to-do list carries the same weight. Take a moment to reflect on your core values and your long-term goals. What really matters most to you? Family time, maybe advancing in your career, personal growth, professional growth, time for your health and wellness, Write down your top priorities and use them as a compass to guide your decisions and your actions. Have you ever heard of the Eisenhower matrix? We've talked about it on the show before, but it's a simple yet effective tool for prioritization. So I'm going to try to talk you through it. I do actually have a free resource that's a time audit tool, and it incorporates the principles of the Eisenhower matrix. So you can go to gracefilledleader.com and find that in the free resources. But if you picture a square and you divide it into 4 quadrants, quadrant number 1 is the urgent and important. Quadrant number 2 is the important but not urgent. Quadrant number 3 is urgent, but it's really not important. And then 4 is neither urgent or important. So as you go through your to-do list or your list of responsibilities and commitments, try to categorize these tasks or commitments into these 4 quadrants or buckets. Is the task urgent and important? It needs to get done at a specific time, and it truly is important to your core values and your priorities? Is it important in regard to your core values and priorities, but it's not urgent, so you can actually maybe schedule time in the future to do it? Is it urgent by someone else's standards, or maybe a false thought you've had in your mind, but it really isn't that important when it comes to your core values and priorities? Or is it neither urgent nor important? In other words, is it more likely just kind of a waste of time that isn't at all in line with your values or priorities? What you want to do as you go through your list and you categorize these tasks according to these quadrants is you want to begin to focus on tackling the tasks or the commitments that are in the first quadrant first, followed by those that are in the second quadrant. Ultimately, as you become more gifted in your time management, you will hopefully have fewer things that are in that first quadrant of urgent and important, and you'll have more that is in the important but not urgent category. In other words, you're going to have more of a plan and a schedule that allows you to focus on your important tasks, but it's not like you're always acting as a human fire extinguisher and feeling like they all have to be done urgently. So either way, take your list, put them into the 4 quadrants, and then try to focus on what you see in the first and the second quadrant. The second key here in prioritizing is to learn to say no. Again, like I said, you're going to hear a lot of key things coming up in this month's episodes. Here's a hard truth. You cannot do it all, and that's okay. Learning to say no, or not right now, is a crucial skill for any working mom. It's about setting boundaries and protecting your time and energy for what truly matters. Practice saying no to tasks or commitments that don't align with your priorities. So practice saying no to the things, even some of the things that maybe you have basically lied to yourself and thought that they're urgent but not important, or someone else is trying to make you think that it's urgent but it's not important to your key priorities. Or even an easier place to start is saying no to the things that are truly time wasters that are not important or urgent. But the point is, practice saying no. Because remember, if you are saying no to one thing, it will leave you more space in your day to say yes to something that's more important. So next, you want to actually schedule your priorities. Let's talk about time blocking. This technique involves scheduling specific time blocks for different tasks or activities. So you want to start by blocking out time for your top priorities, whether that's family time, self-care time, or important work projects. Treat those time blocks as non-negotiable appointments with yourself. Schedule them first. And then fill in the rest of your schedule around them. But don't fill it in completely. It's important to leave some white space, some time for rest, or time to just allow your calendar, your schedule to be flexible, because stuff happens pretty much regularly. Stuff happens that we don't anticipate, and you don't want to get yourself all worked up and overwhelmed because you left yourself no room for margin in your day. Now, when it comes to time blocking, to make this easier, you want to consider using a weekly planner or a digital calendar, or you may even want to use both. I rely most heavily on my digital calendar, but I also do use a paper planner. And my paper planner is more a generalized tool that allows me to sort of jot down what my intentions are for the day or for the week. So it's a foundational starting place to get a visual for my intentions, my fundamental needs and priorities. In the digital calendar is where it gets a little more specific, where I make appointments for myself according to my personal and work priorities. So you want to map out your time blocks for the week ahead. Again, like I said, make sure to include buffer time between activities. Break down your larger projects or goals into smaller, manageable tasks, and then schedule dedicated time blocks for each. Remember, consistency is key here. Stick to your schedule as much as possible, but on to my next point, it's important to also be realistic and flexible. So while time blocking can be incredibly helpful and truly does ramp up your efficiency and productivity, it's really essential that you're realistic about your time and your energy levels. Don't overcommit yourself or pack your schedule too tightly. Build in those buffer times. Those buffer times allow yourself to account for unexpected delays or transitions. And remember, it's okay to adjust your schedule as needed. Flexibility is key to making time blocking work for you. Otherwise, if you're not flexible, if you're too rigid, if you pack your schedule too tightly, inevitably, you're going to fall behind or you're going to miss something. And there's the risk that you'll just give up completely. But allow yourself to be flexible. And then also, along with that, it's important that you review and you adjust regularly. So make time for regular reviews of your time blocking schedule. Really reflect on what's working well and what needs to be adjusted. Many of us underestimate the time that something is going to take. So usually you're going to have to come back and adjust your calendar to allow more time for some of those key projects or tasks. And also remember, if you're finding that you still just are not having enough time in the day for everything on your list, look at whether or not there are any tasks or activities that can be deleted completely or delegated to someone else. Be willing to make changes to your schedule as you need to. And don't be too hard on yourself if things don't go according to your plan. The key is to keep iterating and refining your approach until you find what works best for you and for your family. By mastering this art of prioritization and time blocking, you really can take control of your schedule and focus your time and energy on what truly matters most to you as a working mom. Remember, it's not about doing it all. It's about doing what matters most and finding balance along the way. My friends, this is the end of today's episode, and I sincerely pray that the Lord fills your days with gratitude, peace, and His amazing grace. I pray this episode blessed you, spoke to you, or encouraged you in some way. If so, please share it with a friend and head on over to Apple Podcasts to leave me a review. That's the only way for me to know if you're enjoying the show. Nothing blesses me more than to hear from you. Also, come on over to our free Facebook community. This is a great place for us to support one another on our faith and leadership journeys. You can find the link to the group in the show notes or go to gracefilledleader.com/community. If you have questions or content ideas for the show, please send me a message on SpeakPipe or via email. Go to gracefilledleader.com/contact and leave a written or voice recorded message. I would love to know how I can best serve you on the podcast. Now to Him who can do immeasurably more than we can ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us. Ephesians 3, verse 20. Until next time, my friends, God bless.